I'm Anja. Behind there is Sean the harp behind the couch, and together we are the flating harper. And this is day 45 of From Here to Jerusalem. I'm in. It is day 45 from here to Jerusalem. How can I not do this after 45 days? So, walking from West Cork in Ireland to Jerusalem with a harp on your back, as you do, out of a possible 400 days, I'd say. You have to know that I picked those numbers out of the area. I don't really know. I think the actual walking time for me would be about 7 months. But what can I say? I'm taking more time than I usually would on a pilgrimage because I'm going slower. How do I know this? I've done this before. In 2010, Sean the harp and myself, we went from West Cork to Santiago de Compostela, walked, and we also walked from West Cork to Rome. Now, we arrived in Liverpool 2 days ago, and I was very, 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 very tired. It is Monday today. It is Monday, the 16th of I'm gonna have breakfast. The 16th of May. I know because my mother's birthday is tomorrow. So tomorrow is the 17th. Am I with it? Yes, I'm with it. So, I arrived 2 days ago in Liverpool, and I slept the better part of the 14th. And yesterday, my host Paul, who I didn't know, like he got in touch with me over Instagram, and he had heard about what I was doing, and he said, I have to meet this woman. So he invited me to come and stay with him, and he's a Buddhist, and he likes walking, and he is thinking about maybe doing some long distance walks, and he's a great cook. I'm eating his bread right now. And the last bit of Irish cheddar that I had in my bag, but it was really sweaty. So he had an appointment this morning, so I have time to sit here and have breakfast and be with you. So, what's the story, Rory? Yesterday, woke up pretty early, but loads of social media. Woohoo! Finally, made a few more TikToks. I'm getting really good at this stuff. Like, I'm very proud of myself. Here I am in my 50s making TikToks. And then we went into town, and he said that definitely I had to go see the two cathedrals. Now, they're nothing like I expected. Both cathedrals in Liverpool, they're not that old. But obviously, the Church of England Cathedral, I don't know when it was built exactly, but it looks like it was finished in the 20th century for sure. So they must have started building it in the 19th. It is a very impressive building. Very, 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 very impressive. Very impressive. The thing that has struck me so far out of Liverpool, like we're in St. Michael's, I thought that was funny as well. Like I was playing in St. Michael's school there in Dublin on day 43. And then I end up like in the hamlet of St. Michael's. Like literally I'm on the outskirts of the hamlet of St. Michael's in Liverpool. And there's a lot of parks here. So this used to be quite an affluent area. And they put in all these wonderful parks. And now the council doesn't really have the money for the upkeep. So they're stunning. There's all these massive big trees. I have the light on in the house because there's trees all around the house. And they're so big that with the foliage, there's no light on this side. And it is like massive, massive big trees. But Liverpool is a very Irish city, so it had a very big Catholic community as well. So therefore we have two cathedrals. Now, the Church of England Cathedral is on the place where there must have been another church or another cathedral. I haven't really read up on it. I don't know, sometimes I feel that it's okay to just go to a place and you just have the experience of it. You can see it when you walk up to it, like it is big, and then it goes down, and where the old graveyard was, there is a park now, which is like used by everybody for everything. And there's still like a lot of gravestones in there, and there is a well. There is a well. So we went to the well, we filled our bottles with well water. I played a bit of harp there until it started raining, and we met these two guys. I did the usual, do you want to come with me? And the one guy says, he would love to, but he's got 8 kids. He's got 8 kids, so he's kind of, he's got 8 kids with three girlfriends, and every time he meets a new woman, he has more kids. So he would love to be free. He thinks about it a lot, but obviously he's got a lot of responsibilities, and he was there with his nephew. And so we had a nice little chat there. The well was really nice. It just comes out of the wall, like there is all this brickwork, and then in the middle of it there is this well, and there's water coming out of the wall. And there's people there filling their bottles and with their dogs, and that was really, really, really nice. Then we go into the cathedral, and it is Mass, resurrection time. Church of England, it is big. It is big. It is very big on the inside as well. We had this amazing choir, a fantastic organ player, massive organ. I don't know. It made me feel really weird because there was a coffee shop in the cathedral, and while Mass was being said, people were sitting down, praying and having coffee. That was a new one for me now. Apparently, they have art installations and stuff in there as well. It was beautiful. And I burned 2 candles. 2 days ago, a friend of mine, his really good friend, he died, and Michael Walsh's dad passed there about a week ago, and so there's Paul. Paul is back. Paul is back from his appointment. That was earlier than I thought. How are you? I was just telling them how wonderful your cooking skills are.
Yeah.
So burned 2 candles, and it was, and then we went on to. We were going to go to the other, to the next cathedral. And then I saw this art installation with all these suitcases, and it's at the art school on Hope Street. And Paul went like, "Oh, there's the pub where John Lennon used to drink, just around the corner here." So we went for a pint there, in the Ye Kraken. And this woman had like this amazing hair, like with the, what you used to see in Amsterdam when I was young. You had these women, and they always would have their hair done, and they would have this really high hair and all blonde. They would take great care of their hair. And she did the whole like would you like love? It was wonderful. So we had a pint there. It was really quiet in there, which was actually kind of nice. We sat out in the garden. And Paul was telling me, like, usually it gets really, really busy in there. And then we walked to the other, like, so you've got two cathedrals, and they're each on one end of Hope Street. I mean, how appropriate, right? And then you come to the Catholic cathedral, and they call it the wigwam, the Catholic wigwam. It was only built in the 1960s, and it is big as well. Like, and it's got loads of this big staircase going up to the main doors, and I don't know how I felt about it. Some of the artwork inside was really, really nice. There is an altar for, let the children come to me, which was very beautiful. The stained glass is all around the building, which I've seen something similar in Berlin, where, as the sun passes through the sky, the colors changes in the church, so from blue to green to red to yellow. It's very, very beautiful. But the altar had the feeling of those born again Christian, American altars. Lots of lights and lots of very showy, very, very showy. But we only saw at the end of the day there was nobody there. And in the other cathedral, I had asked, could I get like a pilgrim blessing? And this woman I asked, she didn't know what I was talking about. So she said she could give me a stamp. And she gave me a little piece of paper with the stamp. Bookshop of the Cathedral of Liverpool. I'll cherish it. I will cherish it. We left the Catholic cathedral when it was closing. Bob was telling me there have been issues with the construction ever since the beginning. I don't know how I felt about it. It is definitely a piece of modern art, like, for sure. But as a church, it didn't give me very much of a church feeling, although the altar was very nice. And I think what didn't help was that they were doing work on the organ. So there was like all kinds of work in progress signs, so you couldn't really walk around but it's round, it's a circle. So you sit around in a circle around the altar. Yeah, I'm not sure. Now it's right next to the old Irish Centre, which is in this kind of Georgian building, which is now all overgrown. It actually looked really attractive, and it made me really think, about all these people that came to England in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, and how strong the Irish influence has been in this town. Then we walked back because Paul had said there is another pub which is called the Pilgrim, and I'm thinking, oh, here we go again. Like on the road to Rome, you'd find all these pilgrim streets and pilgrim roads, and they had to do something. And I'm thinking, yeah, maybe there were pilgrims that came through Liverpool. Sure, why not? Why not? Oh, so we go there. Turns out it actually the pub had more to do with the pilgrims to America than to the pilgrims to the Holy Land or Santiago or Rome. But we had an interesting chat there with a young man from whose father was Romanian, and his mother was from Liverpool, I think. And he was having a day of talking to tourists. When we sat down initially, there were two guys that were talking about eco energy and eco politics, and they were really in a hefty discussion, and it made me smile because there was like a little bit of the total paranoia, and also like, windmills are made from plastics, and by creating those types of energy, we're also destroying the countryside. And so I'm smiling, and I catch a man's eye, and the first thing he says to me is, well, love, you don't have to, don't be thinking anything, we're gay. Thinking that this, I said, listen, you're all good. No problem at all. But this young guy was talking to them as well. And then it turns out that they were just visiting. So they were going away. And then he joined us, and he went like, I was talking to tourists anyway, and he was telling us that he had been to Paris with his dad, and that he really enjoyed it, and that he didn't enjoy standing in the line for the European Union, passing the border, and that they'd given his dad a really hard time, but that he had had no issues going into France, but his dad had issues going in because of the Romanian path. But I assume the man was I don't know, but there was a lot of paperwork. There was paperwork, and there was all kinds of stuff, and he wasn't happy. So I said, I'm going through Romania. Is there anything I would know? And all he was telling us then was that he'd gone to Romania for the first time ever. And this lad was definitely in his 20s, probably a bit older than he looked. And that he had loved it. It was amazing. They were in near the seaside. So I think that's on the Georgian side, so the Black Sea, is it? And he was there visiting his family, and they had a big house on the beach, and drink was very cheap. This was the main thread throughout his conversation, was the prices of drink. He as a smoker, he'd been sitting on a terrace in Paris and had paid €9 for a pint, and he was disgusted. And that was the reason he was in the Pilgrims, because he could get a double shot for £3 or something. It was very funny. So then we went back home. We walked back home. We found the way markers. So what it looks like is to join the Transpennine Way, you follow the cycling route 56. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to head out there. I think today, that the weather for today is pretty bad. Yeah, I'll get to that in a second. We found the way markers anyway, because I thought there might be actual way markers, but when you look at the map, the route coming from Liverpool city, that's not where the Transpennine starts. It starts out on the coast a bit further back before Liverpool. But that's not, you see, this is it. That's what I meant with the continuity. That doesn't bother me. It is about the continuity of the actual journey, so that when you put your feet on the ground, that you keep walking. And it doesn't matter where you land on land, you really walk from there. So, but I made that commitment now, after my train journey, and my longingly looking at the countryside, going oh, I could be walking through there. I'm over it now. I'm good. I won't say it anymore. But I don't have to go to the beginning of the trail in order to walk it. I can just join the trail and then go on. So cycle route 56 should get me to the actual Transpennine Trail, TPT. And Paul had made this really nice shepherd's pie, vegetarian shepherd's pie. But what he didn't tell me was there was all kinds of beans and pulses in there. So it's a fart fest today. And there was beetroot in there as well. And then I know you don't want to hear this, but I'm going to say it anyway. You think oh my God, am I bleeding to death? Oh no, it was the beetroot. My dad would love this. Those are the types of conversations he would love. It was really warm yesterday. It was very, very warm. And then you could feel that there was rain coming. So the forecast is really bad. And this morning it was raining, but now it looks like it is again that kind of warm with a cold wind. There is some kind of storm coming. It might come, it might not come. I have no idea. What I do know is that the aim would be Warrington, but Warrington is a good bit away. It's about 27 kilometers. I'm not going to be walking 27 kilometers. So Mary got in touch with me. Now Mary I met 12 years ago on the Camino, and we walked the first part out of Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port together with her husband. And she had never walked. She'd never walked. And she's a warrior for the women in the Catholic Church. She was the woman behind the bus advertisements when the Pope came to London in 2010, 2009 or 2010, and she had the advertisement campaign about allowing women into the church all over the double deckers in London. So now we haven't seen each other in 12 years, but I have a room there, and I can just walk as far as I can today, and they will come and pick me up and then bring me back tomorrow. Now tomorrow I'm also meeting Celia, because it is my mother's birthday, of course, and it is also Celia's birthday, and her daughter lives in Manchester. So they have a bed there for me as well, but I'm not going to make it to Manchester tomorrow. I think I'm just going to go as far as Warrington then tomorrow. Whatever I didn't walk today to Warrington, I'll do it tomorrow so that I have some more time with Mary, and then Celia, we can have that dinner, and Celia is heading off then to go to the ferry, to go to England, to go back to West Cork. So I was thinking, if there's anything in my bag that I now decide I really don't need. So I've been looking while Paul was gone at what is in my bag, and I still there's stuff in there I haven't used, but I'm finding it impossible to let go of. Now the bag is a good bit lighter than it was, and I think I have everything I need. I'll go through it one more time before I leave, and if I can find anything, I should let it go. I should try and let it go. But clothes, definitely not. Rain gear, definitely not. There's one or two items that really I shouldn't, there is no need for me to carry them, but I use them every day. So I'm thinking, well, if you use it every day, then maybe you should, but it's kind of funny, duddy luxuries. Yeah, that's really it. Like, Liverpool has been really nice. I've really enjoyed it. I'm glad I didn't do the Irish thing and went for like loads of pints, and I did smell a lot of weed on the street though. I have to say, there was a lot of times I go like, oh, smell that. Oh, that smells so good. Oh, yeah, I know what that is. So, and like I said, the parks are just stunning. But they're stunning because there is no money for the upkeep. They mow the grass, and that's it. You know, that's about it. And people use the parks here as well. There's loads of people were out there having barbecues, playing ball, walking their dogs. It's been really good playing here as well. It's been a really nice vibe. It kind of reminds me a little bit of when I was a kid in Amsterdam. It is a little bit, but Bristol has it as well. It's a little bit wild underneath. And I really, really appreciate that. There is a good mixture of architecture as well. So the obviously the around Hope Street. What was it called again? What is it called? The quarter? Paul? Doesn't hear me. Around the architecture is a little bit older, and then there is a lot of work, working people's architecture, which I really like anyway. Well, I suppose that's it for me for today. I'll let you know again tomorrow how we're getting on. It is day 45 from here to Jerusalem, and Sean the Harp is happy because he's been playing every day. I'm happy because I finally am doing like an update right after the last update yesterday, so I'm happy there as well. There will be some walking. The weather might be really bad. I'll let you know how we get on. And yeah, if you want to, do subscribe to the channel. It all helps with the algorithms, good old social media algorithms. And thank you very much for being here with me, for supporting me, for all the love and all the messages and all the all of it. It's wonderful. Thank you very much, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Bye bye. There we go. Let's see if I can turn this off. It's always the same thing. There we go. Did I forget?